Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is... Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Bobby M. Prechtinger. You might recognize him because he is my father, and we share the same last name. And I thought it'd be a good idea to fly to Austria and interview him because he has so much experience in different things, and he has won several awards. They're placed behind us, next to us, but he can tell you more about that as we dig deep. But Bobby, can you share where you were born and what got you interested into the film industry?
Well, I'm from Austria.
Yeah.
Just like you. Anyway, I lived here to my teenage years, but that was the big dream of entertainment. Decided to go to America to fulfill my dream. And while I was here in Austria in my youth, I was actually a professional dancer. And I did some modeling. So I was always involved with fashion. As you can say, I was
going to say, where did you just come from? You look like you walked off a runway.
Well, if I may.
Yes. Show this camera and go right here. Yeah.
This is a jacket that was custom designed for me.
Okay. Walk towards this camera too now.
Crocodile affecting me.
Oh. Okay.
And you can put actually some bullets in here, which I did at the airport. They took me aside.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I had the bullets in here.
When fashion kills.
They almost arrested me for having the... But anyway.
Who's the designer?
The designer is a very famous Austrian designer from Vienna. His name is Paul Prince.
Yeah.
I met him at the Berlin Fashion Week last year, which I'm invited all the time. Every year I go there.
To do what? Like as an audience member?
As a VIP guest, and at the same time, the agency and the management there work together with me. Okay. And we do some projects together. Very nice. And you meet a lot of nice people. And I love fashion, as you know.
Right. You're very fashionable. I mean, I love fashion too. I have a fashion addiction. Everyone knows that I like to shop.
I think that apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Exactly.
However, so he saw me and we connected so well. And we became, in the meantime, very good friends. And I visited him in Vienna, Austria a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he just surprised me. I came to his eye, he took my measurements, and then next time I came to the showroom, all of a sudden he busted out with this
sweet custom coat.
Custom with snake, crocodile leather, everything handmade.
Wow,
that's everything. He literally cuts pieces and sews everything. I mean, it's amazing. He's a very talented person.
And what was his name?
Mr. Paul Prince.
Paul Prince.
Yeah, it's a cool name too.
Yeah, I like the name, Paul Prince. Prince is my dog's name.
Don't tell him that.
Okay, well, so let's take it back a little bit. You did dancing. You live in Austria, but I know that the film industry wasn't necessarily the first thing you jumped into after being a dancer. You actually became a pilot.
Well, I usually don't talk about that. Yes, as I said, I was a 4-time champion in Austria in dancing, and twice. One time I became first, and one time third, I think, in European champion dancing as a teenager. I started with ballet, went into modern dancing, hip hop, breakdancing, everything. However, so when I decided to go to America, I thought I just arrived there and I'd be
a dancer, like a professional dancer.
Entertainment. I wanted the entertainment.
Yeah.
So I thought if I go there, I have a lot better chances. Little did I know, with no money, almost no English. High school English.
True.
I wasn't even finished with high school at the time.
Wow, that's brave to just be I'm going to go
myself. I didn't know anybody. I went to California, in Northern California, and finished the high school. And I decided, and then I started with Elite Model Agency. So I did a little bit of modeling on the side. Yeah. And wanted to act, but it was a thing of impossibility.
Was there acting classes back then? Were you able to take them in school
No, we had very small acting thing in school. It was I was actually part of that.
Was it drama class or something? Not acting class, but drama where you play.
We did music, singing, acting, and we did a musical, Hello Dolly.
Classic.
Yeah, it was funny.
I feel that's where everyone kind of gets their first spark.
The reason I got into the acting, actually, Elvis Presley, when I was 6 years old.
Elvis, okay.
His first movie, one of his first movies, G.I. Blues, inspired me so much. And I didn't even think about the acting. I just saw him and I started making these moves, dance moves. And also I took now guitar lessons and vocal.
Right.
So
he was the full package. It wasn't,
when I
just,
saw
it wasn't
him,
just acting. It was music,
so
dancing, like just him as a person.
Exactly. As a person, he inspired me so much that I started copying some of his moves and his songs and stuff. And people were like, wow, you did it so well and stuff.
Yeah.
So from there, I went to do dancing and everything else. So he was actually the one who gave me the push start.
Okay.
However, I came to America. And I came to America and I got woken up to the reality what a tough sector it is. And at the time, I just had a student visa. I couldn't work in America.
Which is a common thing.
Yeah, it was such a terrible experience to get into it and try to go immigration and stuff.
Right.
So anyway, then I decided I have to secure myself somehow financially and socially before I continue with my dream. And somehow I sat down and I started thinking, what would be the next job I would love to do that I would enjoy?
Aviation.
And it was aviation, airline pilot.
Which is another crazy big goal. I mean, it's not like you were I'm going to save up, work at a coffee shop or work something smaller while I save up for my acting career. You totally detoured.
The thing with me was I never cared about the money.
Right.
And I still don't really. It's not, it's a nice byproduct. But it was important to me, for me to live my dreams, to do something that I every day would enjoy doing it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like you're getting tortured 8 hours going to a job that you don't enjoy. So I didn't want to be one of those.
Right.
So I was naive, young kid, 16, 17 years old. And I said, okay, if I cannot be an actor right now, I'm going to
be a pilot and
divert to become a pilot. And later on, I go back to it.
Wow.
As simple and dumb as it sounds, it actually worked out somehow. But
what were people your age doing career-wise back in that time? Because the jobs always change. Well, so what was the thing your friends were doing, or your siblings?
When I was in high school in Austria, I did a trade school, hotel management trade school, which is a 3 years curriculum.
Yeah,
I finished that just to have some backup.
That was your plan C.
Yeah, that was
the backup plan.
I hated it, but I did it for my parents also because they wanted me to have something just to fall back into.
Right.
I came from a very simple family, so I didn't have the family background, so I can say, they financially can help me with this and that.
Right.
However, I finished it and I went to the last class of high school to America. And then when I decided to become pilot, there was a naively decision making. I didn't know how.
But do you think that's why it worked? Because you didn't know? Because maybe that would have scared you away.
Thinking about it right now, thinking back, I think that was definitely a strength of mine that I would just take it by the balls.
Tunnel vision.
No, I was
to the red flags or to the hard obstacles.
I told my mom I would never do something I don't like. I'm not going to be in a hotel and serving other people being a slave.
Right.
I said, I want to do what I want to do. It has to be an art. I knew it has to be an art. Mm-hmm. And flying an airplane is actually an art as well.
I mean, to me, thinking about the landing process is so stressful. I'm it's
the whole process is actually stressful.
Okay, how do you get down? That's terrifying.
Yeah. So I became then at the time, actually in America, the youngest airline pilot. I was 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. I was already an airline transport pilot. But the issue the license at 23. So I had to literally wait over 2 years to get my actual certificate.
Oh, wow. To actually be flying. Wow.
So then I became an instructor in between.
Okay.
And I became
Are you taking any acting classes in between this time? Or is it now it's full focus on being a pilot?
Acting was my whole life. Because when you go to interviews for all the different interviews I had to go through, all the selections, it was so, I would prepare myself mentally, just like when you get a script and you prepare yourself mentally for the position. At that time, I was so busy with studying and flying and instructing and accumulating.
How do you manage the time?
Accumulating the hours. And then I was modeling a little bit in between. Mm-hmm. But modeling was not, I enjoyed the actual continuity in the film.
Right.
I didn't like static.
Like movement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, life is dynamic, so is film.
Right.
Pictures are static, so it's dynamic.
Whoa. Put that on a t-shirt.
So I always say, if you stop something, it's like death. Because you stop the living of it, right? So when you take a picture, it's a static
you're freezing a moment in time.
but the moment shouldn't freeze because it's living moment. It's dynamic. It's always a continuation, a movement. Life is a dynamic thing.
Right.
So I wasn't afraid enough at that time. Whatever happens, happens. I try. If it doesn't go, I try something else. I wasn't afraid of failure. And it was also from where I came, from nothing.
Right.
And the eager and discipline I had, because since the day I can think, I wanted to be something. I don't know if I'm something now, but at least I'm getting my best.
So you started flying like really at the age of like 23 because you were like allowed to have your like license, your airline
Prior
pilot.
to that, I was a flight instructor.
Right.
Actually, chief flight instructor. Of the
so you're a flight instructor. Now you're an airline pilot around age 23.
Yeah, little did I know that, once I got all the, college degree, aviation, and all the certificates, that the hard process about becoming an airline pilot is the interviews.
Like it's like leveling up to the next level. It's hard, and you have to impress
demanding.
How many people are you talking to?
Yeah,
how many people do you need to impress?
When I was going to their interview, I flew on a Boeing 747-400, which is at that time the biggest airplane in the world.
Yeah.
It was the competition. I think they interviewed like 15,000 qualified pilots, and they took like 12 or 15.
Scarier than an audition when you go for a movie.
That was a audition.
But you got the part.
At that time, it was actually funny because I was the youngest. From experience level, actually the least experience. I never thought I was going to land it, but somehow I must have done something right. But as I continued flying, I never left the dream of being in the entertainment business. So I remember I was 27 and I was flying then in an airline, and it was my birthday. The flight attendant brought me a cake into the cockpit.
Oh, that's cute.
With a coffee.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, Bobby, you turned 27. And to me, it struck a panic because I thought to myself,
close to 30, or what's the panic?
I'm 27 and I still haven't fulfilled my true dream, which was entertainment.
Okay.
And, at that moment, I kind of felt that I'm drifting every day one step further from my actual dream. And then it kind of panicked me. And I said, I have to do something about it now.
Yeah.
And then I started
slowly
going back into it. Trying to. So, then, flying international, worldwide.
Right. So then it's like you level up in your aviation career, basically. And then you also have kids, have a whole family life. So
yeah, that was hard.
You're managing that. So at what age would you say you actually really were like, I'm going to go back. So I'm going to go to film now.
I took courses and classes, and I did a lot in fashion. I was doing music videos with some friends that were producers. So I was accumulating information and experience. And while I was a pilot, I was then making quite decent money. And I reinvested a lot of the money, and somehow it worked out. So I actually I was kind of financially free with 37. So mid-30s, I didn't, I knew I had.
So 10 years after having that thought.
Yes, like 5, 6 years after, I went on part-time flying.
Okay.
So I only flew on long haul 50%, which meant I had one flight a month. So I had 3 weeks a month off.
Yeah.
So
that's a big difference from where you were gone for 2 weeks at a time.
Exactly. So I started buying books, acting classes, and this and that.
Oh, cool.
I paid more attention to that part. And then through fashion and some of the connections I had in LA, one time I was in a music video, actually as an audience watching with some of my friends.
Like someone in the music video watching someone else?
I was watching some of my friends doing music videos.
Oh, watch. Okay.
Yeah, and one of the producers came up to me and says, "Hey, you got a special look. We're making a movie. Are you interested to be part of it?"
Oh.
And he knew that I was in fashion. So I said, "Yeah, I'll try it out." And he happened to be at that time with Eric Roberts, and
cool.
They wanted to do
Julia Roberts' brother, Emma Roberts'
Oscar
uncle.
nominated and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then, so were you nervous though?
I was the most nervous.
Because now you're acting with someone that's actually, has done movies, and then you're jumping into it.
Because we played a big part of it also in Europe, and I connected them with Europe. So this way I demanded to get actually a
percentage.
No, not only a percentage. Producer
credit. Awesome.
So, and I never acted. That was my first movie, and I heard that talking. They want to shoot some part of it in Europe, and I told him that I could actually help you guys to connect you in Europe.
If it's in Austria, right? Because then it goes back to where you're from.
I don't know, about $500,000.
Yeah.
And they saw that And they said, I said, I will do that for you guys, but under one condition. You give me a producer title. And they gave me a co-producer title, and I had the second lead role. So
it ended up working out.
Yeah.
And so what was your experience shooting a movie in Austria?
Well, I remember on the first scene, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
Because I was actually helping producing. And
So you have to like jump back and forth into like producer / actor mode.
In Europe, I was the only connection from the producers.
Well, it's small
so I came
here.
2
It's
months
different.
before here. I tried to set up everything. It was so funny, and then the whole crew came and stuff. It was actually quite fun.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the director calls me and says to me, "Bobby, tonight is your scene." But my scene was supposed to be a week later.
Why was it early?
Because they changed things around.
Yeah, which always happens in the film
Yeah,
when you're making movies. Like schedules come out, but things always change, so you have to be ready for that. So it's always good to know your lines if you're acting. That was another reason why I was too scared to be an actress.
Something I didn't know at the time.
Yeah. So they call you, and they're like, "Today's your scene."
And I thought he was joking.
You like laugh.
I say, yeah. No, seriously, I'm busy. We'll talk later. And then I come on set, and he says, "Are you preparing?" I said, "Are you serious?" I barely. I read the script once, but I never read my lines. I was so nervous that I started writing, the lines big and trying to figure out everything. I was like, shit, this is going to go definitely wrong. And it was in the late night. And
were you able to use any of your like study techniques from being a pilot?
No, not really.
No, not really.
The thing that really helped me, I must say, and I'm continuing using it to this day on my own films, was I had some famous German actors from TV episodes and stuff, and I started blacking out. I don't even remember my lines. I remember I didn't even remember any line. And I was like, shit. He says, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the lines.
Okay.
You know him. Just let it happen. And if it's a little bit different.
Okay, so he was like more loose. He wasn't so like strict
he was very experienced. He was like 6 years on a TV show.
But sometimes certain directors try to like.
No, that was one of the actors.
Oh, the actors. Oh, the co-actors. Okay.
So, but the director never talked to me, and I kind of hated it. I didn't know what he was
really. Why? That's interesting.
They always talk to the main guy, at the time. And
but still, like, if you want the whole scene to be good, you have to talk to all the actors that have speaking lines.
That's why I said crazy. I apply this exactly now to all my films, because then I approached the director. I said to him, "Can you tell me a little bit of what you really want to see?" Character.
Yeah.
I mean, the character I had was like a kind of mafia boss, or somebody loan shark or something like that, right?
But it was also like a comedy, right?
Yeah, but it was a comedy.
Yeah.
To be like a flamboyant kind of, like over express myself.
Right. Okay.
Once he said that to me, it was like the best.
You got it. It was like the key words that you needed to hear.
It was the best acting lesson I ever had. Was this sentence.
Okay.
And I always use the same thing now with all my actors. When I do a movie and I direct it, I talk to them. I tell them what I want to see. Just give them a little hint. Make them feel comfortable.
Kind of like let them fly. Yeah.
Because, if I read a script and you read the same script, you will understand it differently. You see the character differently. But just that 1-2 sentence exchange with the director, I knew what he really wants. And it was so easy for me to act it. So anyway, we did the first scene. They called action.
Yeah.
I made it. I made the first scene. I came out because it was going to the other room.
Right.
Talking to 3 guys.
Okay.
And when he said cut, and I'm walking back to the director, to the camera people.
To see what,
Yeah, I thought, oh shit, they're going to tell me off now. He said,
we got it?
We got it in the box. And after that moment, they called me the one-shot Bobby.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, a one-shot, that saves so much time, because like when you have to do it like over and over, especially if you didn't know your lines, like that could have been a disaster, but it wasn't.
From the disaster, you went actually.
From disaster to one-shot
Bob. They give me the comfort.
For the confidence.
The confidence.
Yeah.
For the next big scene I had with multiple people, and I was the main scene in that.
Like you were running the scene.
I felt so comfortable then, because the director's information plus I performed the first scene so perfect.
Right.
Then it was like all the fear, all the nervousness
just went away. Yeah.
And I was like,
became
actually, I wanted to show them. I wanted to show that I can do that.
And you're like, I have more to show.
Yeah, and then they actually really liked it. And, when the screening was, I got a lot of compliments. And from there on, I became not only an actor, I became a producer as well.
Yes.
But the producing, I must say, I don't enjoy that much because you
Okay.
get a babysit more or less. Like
It's the business side of film, but
I
you
love
have
business.
you love
Yeah.
business. You have a lot of experience, so that's actually interesting that you don't really like it. But maybe because you've been doing so much business in the past.
When I decided to become an actor,
you want to be creative.
I just wanted to be the creative.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The one thing I can remember is if I look back in my life to my childhood, I was born as being creative. Of course, doing creative things enhances that.
Right, of course.
But the one thing I knew is that I'm creative because when I saw a dance move, I could do it better than anybody.
Right.
When I saw, like, when I used to do other songs, Frank.
Like in person.
Yeah, it was so easy for me. And, and that's a quick story.
Like what your experience was in filming in Austria. That's really cool. And then, so now you did acting and producing, but I know like most of your awards are actually for like directing. So how did you get from acting to directing?
Well, as I told you, producing I didn't enjoy because it's so much stress and babysitting.
It's so much stress. Bless everyone who's a producer and is good at it.
You're producing.
We love you.
I have a lot of international connections, which helps for the set.
Right.
But the problem is, relying on people, unfortunately, a lot of people are unreliable.
Yeah.
And it's so stressful. And I went into the entertainment to live my creative dream, not to my business ship.
Right.
Otherwise, I could have done other things.
Yes, exactly.
So then I did I played in some horror movie and some other movies.
And you played with Danny Trejo, right?
Yeah, Danny Trejo, with some other movies.
How was your experience, like, now acting alongside someone who's been in the, acting for years?
Well, actually, I really enjoyed watching like big named actors because I always tried to compare myself to the best, not to the worst. And I wanted to see how comfortable and confident they are in front of the camera. And that actually struck me, seeing like when they call action, even if they don't know the lines good,
they kind of just go with it.
So
like they're like, oh shit, I forgot the lines.
It's like they don't even think about it.
Right. Like you have to just recover now. Like you can't let people know that you messed up.
Like a lot of these big stars, they just read it, they read it on big boards. Yeah. Like all the lines and they write it as
tell us all the secrets. Well, my experience, like actually they have rehearsed their lines, but I also wonder, like, the older you get, the longer you've been doing it, you can probably get more of like, hold the script up for me, or like write the key words. So I remember
the script, but they don't know it like detail. And the two people hold on.
It's like a poster. You're like,
and then they're shuffling the cards. But it was amazing.
That's probably a PA who has to end up doing that. So shout out PAs.
It was actually amazing for me to see while he's reading.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the name.
Right.
He's acting.
Right.
And that's like the next level. Like
that's actually even harder.
That's hard, yeah. And that actually, I was like, wow, this guy can actually act. He reads and acts.
Reads and acts at the same time. That's another kind of talent. But I guess,
So I went back to America, took courses and all different courses.
Like, are you taking like master classes?
Yeah, I took some master classes, then these stressful got to.
Who, because I've had a couple of people on the podcast who've done people's master classes, film them. Who was someone?
I watched Werner Herzog, who's a German Oscar-winning director. I watched a couple of them, but I always say to be good at something, it's your responsibility to know from A to Z everything about it. Once you know everything about it, to me, acting is not a job; it's a life.
Right. It's fun. Like
it's not only about fun; it's my life.
Right.
Film is my life. I think in film. I like that. Everywhere I go, to me, you're an actor 24/7.
Yeah.
You're a human being. When you go for an interview, you're a different.
You're the main character in your own movie, in your own world.
You're a different character than when you go to meet your mom.
Right.
You're a different character
when you see your friends. Yeah.
See your friends. So you're actually always acting.
Everyone's fake. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. The thing I always said when I make a movie and people come up to me, what do you want me to act or how you want to make? I said, if you act, I'm going to throw you out of the set. I want you to be
yourself. Be it. Yes.
Be it. So I'll give you an example. Also, when I used to fly the airplane, I was very young, and a lot of people would ask me, how did you? I always used to say, when I'm in the airplane, the cockpit flying the airplane, I am the airplane. I was
fly.
Seriously, I was tuned into it.
Yeah, like you're in
every little sound, every little thing. I was one, like I was a bird. I was like the airplane.
Yeah.
And
That makes me feel safe flying with you.
and this concept I took in any other thing when I did business or film.
Yeah.
And
Like really become that.
yeah, you have to
become that role, become
you
that
cannot,
director, become that whatever it is.
Exactly. Whatever you do, you have to become it. It's not enough to do it.
Right. Okay.
You can do it. Everybody can do it.
Right. But if you really want to like exceed to the next level,
you have to become it. You have to taste it, breathe it, smell it. Like every day I come up with new script ideas. I write some new things. Every talk I have with friends, it's also always involved in films, even business. Which, it's like, it's part of me.
Cool.
It has to be part of you.
Yeah.
And you have to love it to do it for free. Then
you can start making it.
Yeah. Then
I think we've all been there having to, put either your own money into work for free or, try to use your resources as much as you can.
Well, you have to pay the dues, as they say. But big step ahead to me is a big thing that I learned. Anything, regardless what I do, is always saying, if you want to be good in something, you have to know from A to Z everything about it. Like you cannot write and read if you don't know the alphabet 100%.
Right.
So how can you be a good entertainer if you don't know in the film industry from A to Z everything? So you have to be familiar with the script a little bit, the acting, the producing, the directing, the editing. And of course, everybody has a strength somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. But you have to know the whole information.
Right.
And then you succeed a lot easier.
So what was the first project you directed about and where and what did the inspiration come from?
It was funny. I was laying in bed. Actually,
love it.
True story. In the evening, laying in bed. And I was kind of disappointed from the movies I was involved with.
Okay, that's fair.
The script of it.
Well, you kind of have to.
The movies weren't the bad.
But like the dialogue?
The dialogues, and then also...
Dialogue is everything.
I also didn't like the way the director cut some of the stuff. When I was, as an actor, participating, I thought this movie is actually not bad. When I saw the end result...
you were a little disappointed.
Yeah, you could have done a lot better job because there was so many good... Not my scene, in general.
In general, as a whole, yeah.
And then I thought to myself, the scripts are not deep enough. They're like a remake and generating thing,
sequels and stuff.
And I kind of got tired of that. I thought to myself, I can definitely tell a better story than these guys.
Okay.
So one night, it was funny. I was laying in bed, and it was like a flash. I didn't see it. Somehow I thought, I felt it kind of. And then the next day, I started talking to one or two people about it. And it was the first film that I did myself and the script that I wrote. Right. It was a short film which was called The Mayflies.
Well, now you're writing also. So you're writing and directing.
Well, I said I can try it. I was never a good writer, but I can I'm a good storyteller. Right. And as long as I understand it, I don't care. So I started writing it with a friend, but I made the whole story, and then they improved it a little bit. So it was a work together of us, but it was my story. And then I told it a few people, and they were so excited about the story. And then some friend of mine introduced me to a wealthy person. And he said...
That's always nice.
Yeah. And then he said, send me the script. I'll take a look at it. It wasn't a big budget. It was a small budget.
Right.
It was just
like a short film, right?
For me to do something. Right. And 2 days later, he financed the whole thing.
Wow. That's awesome. That's
great. Then I thought to myself, that was actually another kind of reward for me knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Right. That was kind of like a validation, maybe you could do this, right? Yeah. This could be
if
legit.
Some older gentleman who's wealthy,
right,
thinks this is worth to put some money in, must have been an interesting story. Right. And we did it. We shot it. I acted and directed in it.
So how did you do that? How would you act and direct at the same time?
I always say, if you want to do something, if you want to taste an apple, bite into the apple. So you actually have to go and try it. Right. The worst case scenario is you fail and then
it's too sour, it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, you change your strategy.
Right.
So what I did, brought the AD, a girl, assistant director on board, and we went over the script, everything, and I told her I want to direct it and stuff, but I need her assistant. And it worked actually quite well because I won 4 awards with the first film. Wow. And it was screened in Paramount Studios.
Very cool. And so now at this point, you won for directing or acting?
It was funny. I won for script.
Oh, so totally different.
Yeah, I went for
You're like, actually, none of the above. I went for writing.
Director, okay. And
wow, so your first
best drama, it became the best drama.
So your first short film directing, you won best director.
Best director, best drama, I think best film and best script or something like that. I don't remember all of them. Actually, as a matter of fact, there's one of them here.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
Oh yeah, read it.
Let's read it. Okay, so it says Hollywood Independent Filmmaker Awards and Festival, The Mayfly Cycle, and Best Drama Film. Yes. Director Bobby and Prechter. That's so cool. Yeah. In 2018, so not too long ago, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So okay, so now like you have an award. Like obviously you must be like excited. Now you have even more of a validation. So what's the next? Are you like, okay, I need to direct something now ASAP? Like I want to do the next thing?
I just thought to myself, wow, people liked it. And then I had a speech on the end of and people
right, because people do a Q&A.
Cheers in the eyes and they liked the story. And then I just, when I had time, I kept doing this and that, different things. Yeah. But then I contribute more time to writing my ideas and stories and stuff. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I love acting, but just telling story is actually a strength of mine.
Yeah.
And, with my experience as a pilot and I've done a lot of things, lived in 3 different continents, done multiple things, it was almost easy for me to tell a story.
Right, because you've seen different cultures, people all around the world.
I've been to 130 countries, I think that's...
Wow, 130. How many times have you been around the globe?
I think for sure a couple of 100 times, because when I used to fly, we had actually one flight was 3 weeks that flew one time around the world. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so where would you say is like your top 3 spots, I guess?
That is a bad question to ask me.
I know.
As I say, if you do what you love to do, if you're financially comfortable, anywhere in the world you are, it's going to be paradise. You're going to enjoy it. But if you live in the most beautiful place in the world, but you can barely survive, you have no job, you have no close people to you, no family, even paradise could be hell.
Right, that's true.
So
you should make a movie about that.
Yeah, so
that actually be interesting.
I say the world is itself a beautiful place. We human make it not that pretty.
That's fair.
Because anywhere you go to work in the world,
there's something beautiful about it. Yeah, exactly.
But when it's not beautiful, it's caused by human beings.
That's very true. Okay, so now after Mayfly Cycle, what are you writing, directing?
Well,
you're like, I don't remember.
Take my glasses now.
Yeah, we're halfway through the podcast officially now, and we haven't seen your face, so look at both cameras.
After May Cycle, then I started concentrating. I started making some other movies as well with the producers that I was working with as producer, and also act. But my acting became then a little bit less. I concentrated more
on directing and
writing scripts. But I want to get back more into acting. Actually,
really? So now, okay,
because.
Well, you can do it all, right? And you want to do more creative.
I don't know if I can do it all, but I can try my best.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but have fun with it.
Then, wrote the next script. It came up also, there's a lot of things about the transgender
community
and stuff. And at the time, there was no movie made about it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to make something about it, to support them and stuff. I made a movie. It's called They I Am, which it was actually hard to find somebody. I wanted it as real as possible.
Yeah,
so I was looking for somebody who actually went through it. He had the childhood
do the transition,
bullying, the transition from being a man to a woman and stuff. So I wrote a script about that, and after I wrote the script, I started looking for
actors
and the crew. Everything was very easy except finding the lead actor who can play this role.
Okay.
I was actually very challenging. It took me like 6 months to find the person.
Okay.
And then I found the person. The person that I found was experienced, in singing.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, you made the credit song. She
wrote the song for the credits?
No, a friend of mine, with her together, but she sang it.
Oh, she sang it. That's beautiful. Oh, that's cool. So it's like a you can show off more multiple talent.
I like to involve the creative part in totally in the whole entire film, not only like
Just
you
the
are
actual scene. Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying. That's awesome.
So she had no acting experience at the time. So I trained her for, I think, 3 weeks myself with a co-assistant director of mine who also had some acting coaching experience. So we trained all the main actors. And again, I don't remember, I think 3 or 6.
Oh, wow. So you won more awards for this one.
Yeah, I've won.
Again, for like the writing and directing, or?
I don't remember what was. To be honest, I don't remember. But it was.
Are there any here?
Yeah, actually, is that one of them?
Let's see.
No, that's Parallel Path.
This one's Parallel Path too, and I think that was. We'll get into Parallel Path next, but
no, I won several. I don't know. I think also for the story, and I don't know. If
I think she won Best Actress too,
I think
right?
she could have Best Actress.
Yeah, I saw the screening. It was really great. It was awesome. It was really cool.
It was really. It touched a lot of people's souls.
Yeah, when you tell the truth,
but
like a story.
The reason I did the movie, actually, I had the idea. I didn't want. Initially, I wasn't sure if I'm going to do it.
Right.
But I spoke to my acting coach.
Yeah.
One of the courses I take, and I called him out. I said, "Can we have a coffee?"
Yeah.
We had a coffee, and I told him, "I'm writing a script about the subject and stuff,
right?
And I want to make a movie, but I want to show the reality,
right?
I don't want to show any fake nonsense bullshit, And he said to me, I should be very cautious, and if he would be in my shoes, he wouldn't do it. When he said that to me, I wouldn't do it. Then I knew I had
Then you wanted to do even more.
Because I said to myself, why? I'm not going to let the reality, the truth, stop me from giving the message that I want to give in the film.
Right. No, that's fair.
And the reason I love films so much is not only the creative thing. Mm-hmm. I always, some of my films and scripts.
Mm-hmm. I know all of them. I've seen them all. They're great.
There's a deep story and deep message in the film.
Right.
So what I do, I want to give a message out, but I do it in an entertainment form.
Right.
So people actually start thinking, hey, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah. Like you leave your audience like guessing. It's not like, you leave the theater and you just forget about it.
Exactly.
Because I feel like a lot of movies recently, it's emotionless.
I always say, if I don't touch your soul, then I would stop.
failed.
No, I stopped. Yeah, it's true. I stopped making films.
Wow.
Because if you walk out,
that's deep.
Well, if you walk out the movie and the next day you don't even know what you watched, then
you don't remember. Yeah, it's like, what did you actually? I don't know.
But I want to make you all the senses that you have come alive, like the sadness, the happiness, the love.
Yeah, you're not afraid to tap into the emotions.
So I think only this way you have a long-term memory about something you did.
Right.
Because if you're in with all these senses, it stays with you.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so now after They I Am, you are writing and directing Parallel Path. Yeah, which is this the one? Is this the short film you actually won the most awards?
Yeah,
with?
I think I won over 30 awards for that one.
Wow, cool. So you submitted to film festivals. It's circulating.
Actually, I submitted it, and then they came up to me, and so back and forth, and I had my two assistants that helped me.
Yeah,
and I was getting so many awards that I to be honest, I totally lost track. But there's one of them here.
Right.
You can read what he says.
Okay, so this one says Silver Award, Parallel Path, Hollywood Gold Awards. Cool. So it's like the silver tier.
There's another one here.
Let's see.
It's the best director, he says.
This one says Best Director, Parallel Path, Bobby Prechtinger. That's awesome. That's really cool.
And there's another one behind your back.
And the plate says Honorable Mention, Short Script, Parallel Path. So it's also for the script and the writing. It's really exciting that you can have a lot of awards.
I received so many awards. Then I started like, what the hell am I going to do with all these awards?
Yeah.
So I started giving it away to my because the film is made not by one person.
That's true.
So I gave one to the actors. I gave one to my parents, one to my brother, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They enjoyed, and
I like that you gave it to your crew though too, because when you make a film, it's not just the actress and the director, but a lot of times they get kind of more glorified or like the spotlight on them. But you couldn't really make a movie without the person like holding the gaffer, like the best boy, whatever it is. Like even Crafty, the person in charge of the food and the snacks. If you don't have the right food and snacks, you're gonna have a lot of grumpy people on set.
So I always, if I win multiple awards, I always try to give some to the crew and literally give it to them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it inspires the next generation, motivates them, and as you said clearly, correctly, it's a teamwork. No movie is made by one person.
No.
And it takes like many people to make a good movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we see a lot of similar movies now.
Right.
And one of my goals, what I do right now is, because of living in Europe and America, you can see the differences between both of them. The Europeans, for my taste, they're a little bit very artistic, but a little bit too conservative.
Oh, okay.
The Americans are very flashy,
right?
Very repetitive, and always.
So you're trying to like kind of take them to
and always with happy ending and lots of colors. But I love the artistic style of Europe. So what I think the perfect balance would be actually combining that. So that's what I have been doing it. And I did that in Parallel Path very clearly.
I actually want to talk about Parallel Path because it touches on a very important subject matter, especially because it's still happening every single day in America and the United States. And it happens more around the world too, but more in the United States, unfortunately. So it's actually about like school shootings, mass shootings, which is actually a very bad thing going on in the United States right now.
There's another subject that I spoke to several people. I had this idea, if somebody can plan a school shooting, they can do way bigger. It's actually very simple with today's technology.
Like what do you mean?
For example, a school shooting happens in Japan or in America or in Europe. But with today's, and usually it's younger kids, school, like bitter bullet kids, they can team up through internet to simultaneously coordinate it, do it in 10 countries at the same time. I had that, as bad as it is, I had that idea in my mind. Somehow it popped in my mind. What if somebody plans a school shooting and teams up?
But like mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind it. And exactly.
Mastermind mass shooting. That would be literally terrible.
Exactly. Do it like in multiple countries.
Okay.
And that came to my mind. That thought alone, it was like, it kind
shocking.
Terrifying. Shocked me. It electricize me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let it go anymore.
Yeah. That's all you're thinking about. So you're like, I need to
I was like,
write a script.
No, not only write a script, also warn people. Write a script to inform people a lot worse is possible.
Yeah.
But how can I do that now in entertaining form?
It's like a PSA, like an emergency message, but in an art form.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see. So I started also speaking to people about that. And
so what's the script about? So
everybody actually said, "Oh, that's a crazy subject. That you have to."
Yeah, that alone is already like.
But no, it's not, because the one thing I can do as a filmmaker is make the audience aware. If I make you aware of something, then you're willing to go to learn more about it, to understand more about it. So that's what I was trying to do, to make the audience aware. And it worked very.
I'm glad. Great. Like that's the right awareness.
Winning about 30 awards over it. So initially I thought people are gonna hate me for it, but you have to dare.
But why? Because it's such a dark subject. Did you feel like you were going to get
sensitive subject,
right? But even there's a lot of like films out there on sensitive topics, and I feel like we need to make movies. I know, but like
people want to see happy end.
That's true. I like happy endings too, but sometimes life isn't always that happy.
So what I like is, as I said, I want to touch all your senses. I want to give some food for your mind, and I want to make you aware.
Okay.
If I can make you a little bit aware, I am certain that you will take the next step to learn more about it or to do more about it. And that's what I tried to do. So the concept of this movie was very, very unique and interesting. I think I've never heard or seen anything.
I haven't seen it. So when I heard the idea, I was like, you have to do it.
You might want to.
No, we want to hear it from you.
So the way I thought about it, because I thought about, mass shooting coordinated by two totally opposite kids living in different countries.
Okay. So planning it together. Yeah.
Because most of this stuff is over time. Nobody gets up today and
it's like, today I'm going to do it. Right.
It's prepared, like they're carrying the anger and stuff like that, being bullied.
Something led them to
So there is, at the time in Europe was the refugee crisis, which caused a lot of hatred. And I was here myself and I saw it when I came to Europe. And in America, there was like more school shooting, more gun violence, and people were against guns and this and that. But a lot of however, I'm I don't care about those things, the political things. All I want to give the information and the entertainment factor.
Right.
So I decided to take a homosexual woman who is going through a troubled relationship with a underage girl.
Oh.
She's like, 15, 16. So she's
right. They're both in high school.
She's like a senior, and the other one is
okay, a little younger, like a sophomore.
They meet in high school, and they have this secret affair. Nobody knows except the brother of the young girl.
Yeah,
and somehow it leaked out.
Okay, just like things in high school get out.
Yeah, somehow it leaked out, and then everybody's bullying that girl because she's
because now they're a lesbian
she's
couple.
dating this young
she's younger. Okay,
people are bullying her, and the young girl, of course, is fearing for her life because her parents find out, and this and the whole community that is a little small town. What's going to happen to me? My parents find out.
Right.
She literally says they're going to kill me and stuff.
Which is crazy, right? Yeah.
The only one who knew it was the brother. The older brother was okay with it.
Right.
On the other side of the pond, in Europe, in Germany, there's a little young boy, also like 17.
In high school, maybe a junior or something.
Yeah, and he is in love with this girl in his class. And they have actually a very good relationship. She likes him, he likes him. But and as I said, a lot of refugees came to Europe during the time. And she started a new kid come into the class, which he's a refugee.
Okay.
But he's a good-looking older kid.
Right.
And this girl that he likes started liking him and going out with him.
Oh, okay.
And
drama.
Now he sees that as a rivalry.
Oh,
and he's getting
jealous,
progressively more jealous,
and more aggressive.
Right. He has a father who is like.
I was gonna say, what are the parent situations like in this? Because a lot of this comes from family home, your family home. Not just that, but also what you entertain yourself with, your video games and movies, whatever you watch, who you hang around with. All that has a factor.
And this is indicated in the film. You see that he plays violent movie games.
Okay, video games.
Yeah. Video games. Sorry.
Yeah.
And the father makes some comments some racist
comments. Okay.
And because there's so many refugees, when they're driving the car, he makes some, look at all these scumbags and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can see this is catching up with him, and he's thinking, this guy
he's a problem. He's an issue.
He came from a different country, in my country,
stealing
and taking my girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh God.
So now that he's playing video games, these violent video games online with other people. And he's really close to the girl in America, the lesbian girl.
She's also playing video games.
Playing the same game.
Okay. So, which is a very common thing with the Xbox video games in general. But you can play multiplayer and you can play all over the world
with people that you don't know.
I mean, I've even played, but not violent games. But everyone has played at least once, which is crazy to think.
Many kids do that nowadays.
Right.
Games. Even my brother's son plays international. He has friends in Australia.
All over the world, right? Yeah.
And they exchange the talk. So then these two become close to each other and they talk.
Okay.
And she tells her about her worries and what's happening to her relationship.
Their issues.
And he's talking about his issue, about this refugee
venting, angry.
And they're hyping each other's anger up.
Ooh.
So it's actually
toxicity.
Exactly. The feeling of each other's negativity, and the momentum becomes bigger and bigger. And then the plan to go to fulfill this assignment at the same time.
So now they're deciding to plan a mass shooting at each of their schools.
Yeah, and the girl is because she's so angry because
they bully her, right?
Yeah, bully her.
Without giving too much
happens to the young girl.
Okay.
And she's so angry that she wants to revenge.
Okay.
And she's telling this guy in Germany,
I want to get my revenge
via video game and headsets and stuff. You have to do the same thing. Aren't you a man? Aren't you German? The Germans are tough guys.
Oh, so she's egging him on to do bad things. Okay. So then without giving anything away, because you can actually watch the movie on Amazon Prime, right? Parallel Path. I mean, obviously, we can kind of put two and two together of how it would go down if two people plan a mass shooting at the same time. Yeah. What was were you actually able to come and direct simultaneously, in America and in Austria?
Actually, when on the screening, that was the major part that people couldn't understand. Because I do crazy stuff, maybe because I'm a little bit crazy myself, but excuse me. I decided to do that simultaneously because the dialogues had to be such when she's playing in the video game and then immediately he has to coordinate it. So I wanted it to be filmed simultaneously. But how can I be in two places
at the same time?
In different places, different continents in the world. So
teleportation. No,
so I decided to put in my connections in Europe and put together a crew.
So you had your Austrian crew, and then you had your
German crew.
Cali crew.
So I hired this girl, a German girl, as an assistant. She helped me to put up the crew. I interviewed them via, with the iPad.
Shout out iPads. Shout out, the new technology, I guess, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy what you can do now.
That's only possible with the technology. But I didn't even think about it. But afterwards, it's actually kind of revolutionizing. When the other directors heard about I can't believe that's possible.
Right. And to get that kind of performance, it wasn't like...
Yeah, it wasn't something that I planned.
Right.
I just did it because I wanted to make the movie happen.
Yeah. So how were you able to... So you have an iPad, you're directing through an iPad?
Yeah, so first I got the crew in America.
Yeah.
And then, I knew which scenes. It was actually quite hard to split the scenes. This has to be in America at this time. Germany,
Yeah. And it's like different time zones too, so you're also trying to plan.
I didn't see.
You have to basically be awake all day,
but I didn't see the scenes finished in Europe.
Okay.
Just while I.
So you have to put a lot of trust in your crew as well. Back to trusting your crew.
So I interviewed all the crew and got the right crew together, and also in America. And then the actor, the male actor in Europe,
the main guy.
Yeah, he had no acting experience.
Oh, so wow, impressive.
Yeah, so I with the iPad, I went 3 weeks with him through the whole script.
Yeah.
And I told him exactly what I want to see. So I was
FaceTime and stuff?
Yeah, every
awesome.
2-3 times, a couple hours, until I was comfortable with his acting.
Yeah.
I would give him hints, this, and, based on my own experience. And actually won Best Actor.
That's awesome. First time acting, and then also that's impressive. What was your favorite scene to do with him in that? Or what are you most proud of that he was able to accomplish in that scene, I guess?
Well, it was amazing for him. Actually, to be honest, when I interviewed him, I hated his acting. There were way better actors than him.
Interesting. Okay.
I hated his acting. And I didn't want him. But my AD said to me, he really wants that, and look-wise, he had the look I wanted.
Right.
But acting-wise, he was the last person.
But if he's trainable, that's okay.
Well, I didn't know that.
Right.
So then I spoke to the assistant director in Europe, and I said, hey, and she said, maybe let's try training for a couple of days to see.
That's fair, rehearse.
And I rehearsed a couple of days with him, and I saw the improvement was slow, but then I kept pushing him, and then I saw improvement, and I knew I had a certain amount of time that I can do it. And actually, on the end, he surprised me.
That's
both
awesome.
of them surprised me because I was actually amazed how good they acted from never being actor. They were studying acting, but they were never.
And then to win awards right away, that's awesome. That's huge.
So then I did the Americans in a part, and then at the same time, while I'm on set in the American part. The morning in Europe.
You have on the iPad.
with my AD in Europe, speaking to the actors, hey, before you do the scene, come on, you got to do this, that.
Right.
And then, we did it.
Art was created.
Yeah, it was created. We did it.
Yeah.
And I had actually kind of good feeling from the beginning. Everything went very smooth. I was... and I had a very limited budget to do that.
Right.
And that
Which
was
is more impressive.
Yeah, that's the hard part. If you have unlimited money, it's easy to do anything.
Right.
So we did it, we cut it, we added some music to it, and it worked out. And then we applied, and we submitted it. And I was very positively surprised that I got so many positive feedback.
Yeah.
The film festivals, they write me, oh, we want you to part of this and stuff. But unfortunately, it happened during COVID time.
So
as soon as I applied and I started winning the awards, it was all during COVID.
Oh, no. So you couldn't go to the award shows.
I won, I don't know, something around over 30, but I never went to one award. So
hopefully now going forward, you can go to future award shows, because I think they're kind of organizing it around COVID now. Yeah. It's slowly getting better. Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's like a crazy journey. From being a dancer to pilot to acting, producing, then writing and directing.
Yeah, you have to try it all
to really feel
what is the perfect thing for you. But I must say, everything that I did, even the things that I didn't enjoy and hated, it helped and contributed to the end result.
That's a good
And that's what you got to look. You might do something now that you don't like, but exactly that part will help you sometimes in the future in some other thing. It's all connected.
It's all, yeah. I was actually gonna, like, to finish off, I was gonna say, what is like some advice you could give someone who, you know, wants to enter the film industry, wants to write or direct, or like doesn't even know yet, you know, like someone that wants to join but might not have that path
in the film
yet.
industry. I would say if you haven't felt it since your childhood, leave your finger from it.
Really,
it has to be part of you. Film is not it's like I want to be a painter. You can learn how to paint, but you will never be the best. The same with dancing. That's what I realized. I never knew I was a dancer until I studied ballet, and then the teacher approached me and said, "You can take free lessons." She saw the talent in me. I didn't know that because I was a kid. Anyway, I always say, you have to wake up. The thought has to be the first thought in your mind. During the day, it has to always haunt you. When you go to sleep, it has to be the last thought. It has to be, as I said, you have to become it. Only if you feel so strongly about it, then follow it. So make your passion to your actual job, because then it's not a job, it's a hobby. It's something that you love.
Right.
You would do 12, like yourself, you do 12-hour days, 16-hour days for sometimes little money.
But I love it.
You love it.
But I love it.
Because that's you.
Right.
And if you just look at about the money, you would never, then you're selling yourself for a certain value.
Right. And there's other things you could do for money if that's really like,
eventually when you're good in something and you're doing the right thing and you're walking the right path, opportunities will come to you. Doors will open. But you have to prove yourself first.
Right.
People have to see your talent. People have to see that you're so dedicated to it and you're so good and you love it so much. Then slowly doors will open, but nothing happens. As I say, Rome wasn't built in one day.
I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
One more thing I have to say.
Oh, okay. He's like, it's not over yet.
So, I wrote 10 episodes for a TV series that I'm doing right now. The whole entirety of the TV episode is called 100 Minutes.
Okay.
The different episodes.
Yeah.
Every episode is different.
Okay.
But they cross one another.
Oh, they all connect.
Yeah, but every story is different.
Okay.
It's already finished. I already got it certified by American Writers Guild and stuff. So this is going to be my next project, my first TV episode. And it's in a area that I've never done, which is I have a master's in science, science.
Yeah.
So I love science. So it's actually sci-fi, but the conscious, subconscious one, the areas.
Oh, wow, that's going to go
areas that are gray
that we always wonder about.
Is a dream true?
Yeah.
Because when you dream,
is that something in our waking life?
Like, for example, when you dream,
right?
At that time when you dream, your body's
it feels real.
Numb, but it feels real to you.
Yeah.
So it goes like to territories where we question ourselves at all times.
The
unknown, yeah.
Interesting.
And every episode has a different tag, like observation, simulation.
And then they all connect to one big story. I'm very excited
about this one, and I think this one is definitely going to win some awards. Well, I truly believe that this will be my best work that I've ever done.
Well, I'm excited. That's going to be great. That's going to be really cool to see. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great talking to you. Yeah, flying all the way over here.
Well, I'm coming next week to
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do a follow-up after you do your 100 minutes and see where we're at with that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Looking forward. I hope you're part of the 100 minutes.
I hope so too. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
The R-Rated Podcast.